Okay. So you've done a perfect intro to my presentation, because I'm going to be talking about sustainability, digitalizing sustainable fashion consumption, and I will go back also to our physical lives, because I think that's really also very important. However, first, so I'm just going to tell you quickly who I am. So I'm fashion innovation strategist. I've been working in fashion industry for over 20 years now. I'm concentrating on sustainability, consumer behavior, and all the technological innovation that can help more responsible fashion consumption. I have experience also in production management, photo shoots, fashion shows. I'm also advisory board in Metaverse Fashion Council, which was mentioned today as well. And yes, so first of all, let's talk about fashion, because it's such a big part of our culture, and it's something that every human and every person can relate to, as we all wear clothes. This is our communication tool, and thanks to it, we can express ourselves. And even if you think that you're not into fashion, you don't care about what you're wearing, people will have a perception of us simply by looking at us, and that's even subconscious that they will judge our appearance. So yes, fashion is also a business concentrating on novelty and innovations and earning money, as you said. We have haute couture, craftsmanship, and bespoke items on one side. There is fast fashion, however, on the other, which means the high volume of low-cost clothing, imitating the high-end designers and collections. And as you said as well, I'm going to repeat you that it's one of the most polluting industry, and the complexity of this industry, it's really great. It has significant footprint on the exploitation, not only natural resources, but also people working in extremely poor conditions. While thinking about fashion, think about all the pesticides used in farming, toxic dyes used in manufacturing, the large amount of natural resources used in the whole clothing chain. But also, when we're talking about digital fashion, also think about the talents who are working there. Quite often, people are not realizing how many hours are going into creation of digital clothes. So those visuals actually are from a True Cost movie, which if you haven't seen it, it's for a few years back, but it's really worth seeing. I'm really recommending this one. So yes, so there is also a growing problem of overconsumption of clothes and waste management, and a significant proportion of garments are purchased on impulse, and quite a lot of them are actually never worn. There's almost 92 million tons of textile waste creating every year. $460 billion worth of repairable clothes are thrown away each year. 82% of waste textile could be actually cleaned, repaired, and resold again. And extending the life of the garment by only 9 months would reduce the carbon footprint by around 30%. So that's why we can also see the rise of resale business models as well, because people are realizing this, and actually it says there's also legislation coming. The brands are not allowed anymore to burn unsold collections. So they're trying to figure out how to earn money in the other ways. And this is what the Jade mentioned as well, that the fast fashion items are particularly attractive for young consumer living on. Well, sorry, not this one, but that's the digital items actually are worn for social media. So this is replacement of those fast fashion items that people were buying just to show themselves on the social media, and after showing them, they were just throwing them away. They couldn't repeat. So yes, so they are very attractive for young people that are very active on social media, and disposing the primary, because they can't repeat. And it was researched that after being pictured online with the clothing, 1 in 10 goes to the landfill. But it's not only social media. We can see the other items that being just only once used, holidays, barbecues, festives, weddings. So you can't just repeat it. That's what the marketing is telling us, However, luckily, there's a market shift in attitudes, and there is a rising awareness around climate change, which I think we can all feel nowadays. And this is one of the big reasons for this. However, hyper-conscious consumers are demanding more sustainable solutions for brands, and they have vast ability to impact actually fashion market and vote with the wallets. Despite those changing attitudes towards sustainable consumption, the complexity of the fashion industry can mean that individuals just feel powerless, that they can't, their own decision won't change the bigger picture. So that's called the locus of control, which plays very important role here. And when we hear negative information, especially nowadays, we have so many problems, and we just can't hear anymore about the environmental problems. If we want to boost our moods, we're just going shopping for clothes, and that's more our instinct. And a lot of people are just overwhelmed and powerless. So we just need to remember that even small changes in our personal behavior on the bigger scale, it really can bring an impact. And just a little bit of terminology, because sustainability is such a overused word and buzzword. I'm trying not to use it anymore, because it becomes a little bit buzzword, not a little bit. So sustainability is the use of goods and services that respond. You can read it here. I'm not going to read it for you. And it really depends from person to person what we think by sustainability. From brands to brands, it might be easier actually to, in my opinion, to develop the narrative around responsible fashion instead. And yes, greenwashing, that's what brands are doing. That's why they're using sustainability. So Generation Z, of course, they have high expectation on brands. They demand real action in sustainability. And fashion has not marketing tactics like greenwashing. So if we're talking about greenwashing, you can imagine about, sometimes fashion brand can use a single sustainable project or moment to manipulate consumer into believing the brand entire value chain and ethos is ethical. And this is often evident in consumer-facing initiatives like communication campaigns, advertising, a fashion collection, single fashion collection, brand packaging, but leaving all other irresponsible supply chain details decision hidden. So yes, but at the same time, we're spending much more time in front of the screen, and technology has fundamentally changed consumer behavior. And our social lives are now predominantly playing out online, and therefore our main channel to present ourselves and share our identities digital. So fashion, of course, needs to stay relevant to audience to ensure its future. So as necessity is the mother of invention, we can see a lot happening now in the fashion space, especially from the start of the pandemic. Brands which were nearly bankrupting on the bankrupt, they decided that they really need to change something. Fashion startups are booming and brands are experimenting with innovation. And many of those innovations have huge potential to drive sustainability in the fashion industry. And in the very near future, we can imagine that computation will be everywhere. We can think about artificial intelligence that will result in better and more efficient innovation product offering. However, as Jade said again, we need to be careful about the data that we are sharing. Low cost and high quality 3D printing will alter manufacturing. And actually material science might also change how we wear our clothes. And we can see already that augmented reality is becoming a common tool for product visualization. And we have quite a lot of fun in privileged places at least to try virtual clothes. So yes, so fashion and technology definitely looks very promising and can create a better, more convenient fashion future for everyday consumer. However, I really think that it should be about embracing the idea of designing clothes that not only look good, but that will come with life-changing benefits. So yes, we can notice digital models taking part in virtual commerce. There is rise of virtual garments that could be useful for sampling design. That's really helping sustainability and lower the impact of the reduction. Then we can also express ourselves in a different way by dressing our avatars with much smaller environmental footprint. So I've got the numbers here that the life cycle carbon footprint of the production of the single t-shirt from design to disposal generates 7.8 kilos CO2. And to comparison, the digital only t-shirt generates 0.26 kilo. So the reduction then more than 97% carbon impact. So that's quite impressive. Furthermore, we see more and more plenty virtual closet application, which can really help us to realize what we already have in our wardrobes and what we really need. We don't need to buy another black t-shirt, which we already have 10 on the back of our wardrobe. So it's very useful for someone that shop for pleasure as well, and can help us to reduce spending. And we can see also digital labels that can be very helpful, for the resale market. And then what I want to say, I forgot. There's another number that World Economic Forum predicts that 30% of our garments will be digitalized, and most of them will have digital labels as well. So that can be very interesting also for Metaverse and NFTs maybe as well. It can connect very nicely. So yes, so there is definitely a lot of hype around Metaverse, a lot of talks, a lot is happening, a lot is being designed at the moment. We could see not long time ago, just before summer holidays, Metaverse Fashion Weeks in decentralized Vogue Business, then also the conferences with Yahoo Metaverse Experience. For me, my personal experience is there's still a long way to go, but it can open the imagination. So that's really useful that people are trying, and experimenting. And we can also see the brands, beginning to create in 3D. And I think that's the beginning, that how we can utilize all the platforms as well. And I'm concentrating quite a lot on games as well, not just Metaverse, but games per se. I've been doing research 7 years ago of gamification and how it can facilitate sustainable fashion consumption. So that's definitely very interesting, because the next generation of consumers are experience-driven, highly visual, and digitally native. And gaming currently is the best social media platform for brands to reach Generation Z. So mobile game market is huge. It was $77 billion. $120 billion. It's rising, constantly rising. There is 3 billion mobile gamers worldwide, and actually the perception of male hardcore gamer is wrong, because there is more women playing on mobiles nowadays for procrastination on the way and in the trauma underground. So that's quite interesting as well. So because of the above, we can really also see fashion brands jumping on the wagon and heavily adapting this segment market and use of gaming to engage with audience and marketing to them. And many fashion brands are betting on selling skins for avatars. And you can imagine also like selling those branded skins are like entry points for brands. So kind of in the physical world, lipstick, right? So I was thinking about and researching behaving change solution, looking at the games. So all above is super fun and exciting and have a lot of potential. However, I strongly believe that games with this huge audience have much greater power than just be entertaining marketing platform, because changing patterns and behavior can be challenging. Making tools that disrupt habits and facilitates and supports new action is really important in changing clothing behavior, so that to make sure that we are not buying as much as we do currently. And there's a lot of people that are shopaholics as well, but I blame the really strong marketing and all the time changing trends. So games are really great educational and motivational tools that have huge potential to bring positive change. And it was used for different industries as well, not just fashion, but you can educate soldiers, for example, how to go to the war. You can also educate people how to consume fashion. So I truly believe that can and should confront some problems also that fashion industry have. However, it is super important also when thinking about metaverse to remember about the healthy balance in digital worlds and physical lives. Using all the game mechanics, they are super addictive, and that's also what attracts fashion industry, because it can really manipulate, not just motivate, but manipulate people to buying something that we don't really need. So if you were playing games, I'm sure that some of you got really hooked into it and couldn't stop. It's like some easy games like Candy Crush are one of the most addictive, actually. So for this, it's really crucial to understand the consumers, how to engage the audience, and especially when the subject might not necessarily be very important to them. That's why the consumer research is super important here. Then fun play a huge role in education and engaging people. And games, of course, are fun. And they are very different: easy fun, serious fun, people fun, and hard fun, which can be implemented in the game. And regards researchers, they argue that only 3 things can change our behavior in the long term, which is epiphany, a change on environment, and taking baby steps. So the change of environment might be super interesting, talking about virtual worlds, metaverse, games, and also small steps methods in combination of those 2 might be super interesting in examining the game concept. And so just to start closing this gap between consumer attitudes and actual behavior, there is a behavior model that might be very useful. And that shows that 3 elements might be converged at the same moment behavior change to occur. And that I told about this because we're working on such a game. It's our research project called Portobello, where we really on the mission that want to provide platform that accelerate the move towards share and circular economy and help fashion games help people to behave more sustainably. So thank you very much. That's it.